Mornings on 2 is hitting the road for a zip trip to Capitola.
Everything about Capitola is beautiful. The colors, the scenery, the water, the birds, the people.
What isn't beautiful about this place?
We're bringing you some of the coastal city's favorite restaurants and bakeries.
This place has so much love. You just feel the love when you come here, and the food is great.
Plus, Capitola is making waves in the art scene. Discover the hidden artistic gems of this coastal town known for much more than just surfing.
There's so many artists in this town. It's such a hugely supported, creative place, which I actually didn't even realize until I was here. I was like, wow, this place is like a wonderland.
And anyone up for some trivia? Before Capitola became known as Capitola, it was a port for the lumber industry and had another name.
Thornwood. That sounds like a
Thornwood!
That sounds like a funny name. That would sound accurate.
And you're right!
Wait, actually?
No, you're not.
I didn't think so. That'd be funny if I was.
As Mornings on 2 takes you on a zip trip to Capitola. And good morning to you. Welcome to beautiful Capitola. You're looking at those beautiful pastel homes that are right next to the pier in Zelda's here in Capitola. You know, when I first drove up here, I got to admit to you, Garcia, I had not been here before. And the moment I parked, I looked over and saw those houses. I'm like, what is that? And so I went in, did some digging. These are actually condos that are owned by people, but you know, they're actually used as vacation rentals as well, so you can go check them out. But the first thing I thought of, I don't know if you've ever heard of the island Curacao. It's just north of Venezuela. I had a family member that lived there, and it is very much like this. And I remember this. I said, this looks like Europe or some tropical island. Looking at those beautiful homes right next to Capitola, what a way to welcome me to this area that I've never been to before, because I'll definitely be back here for sure.
This place is beautiful. I'll be honest, it's been a minute since I've been here in Capitola, and usually my husband drives, so I got to do 17 all the way down, but I'll tell you, it felt great. We're about an hour and a half south of, I'd say, the heart of the Bay Area, but you feel like you're in another world. Capitola hovers right around 10,000 people. It's a small town, but she is mighty. You can come here to eat and drink and surf and play in the sun, and we brought our whole family out here to highlight Capitola and the fact that she is open for business. We have all that good zip trip trivia. I know people love they think they know, but then they don't know, and of course, the food is impeccable. I had to drive by Gale's. It's a bakery and a roast house, and it took me everything I had not to stop because I was running half a minute late, so we'll highlight that in a second. But first, I mentioned we brought the band out. I know Frank Malacote, you're standing by, and we've got everybody, Sal Castaneda here as well, so this is our first big zip trip of the summer season. We're doing more than ever this year. Frank Malacote, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. I've been ready for weeks, in fact. And right on cue, Mother Nature pops the sun out on what's been a pretty cloudy morning so far. But you're right. I've been hanging out in Capitola the last couple of weeks, talking to the locals, trying to answer some questions like, what was Capitola named before it became Capitola way back in the 1850s? What about Pleasure Point? Not too far, about a half-mile north of here. How did Pleasure Point get its name? And a very popular Alfred Hitchcock film actually got its plot twist thanks to something that happened here way back in 1961. Those are the questions. We will have the answers coming up shortly, but I think it's time to eat. So let's say good morning to Sal. How are you?
You know, I'm doing well, Frank. I came and ate my way through this town, which is always my assignment, and I love it. I'm at Castagnola Deli Cafe, and look at these items. Everything on the menu is under $10. Can you believe it? This is the place where my dad and I would have found when we come to a place like this. There's Dan Castagnola making, what are you making, Dan?
Avocado toast.
He's making avocado toast. Everything smells delicious here. So coming up, we're going to talk about this place. And we're also going to find out other places. Now, there is a business in this town that is so big. It's the third largest business in town. There's an auto dealership, there's Target, and then there's this place. So we're going to find out more about that place when we come back in just a little bit. But it's beautiful here. Let's go right back to Andre and Garcia, who are sitting in a really nice spot.
Yeah, well, you always have the best assignment as well. We can't forget that. You're always getting ready to taste the best foods in each town that we go to. Sal, thank you so much. We'll look for your report coming up shortly.
A lot of people come from the Bay Area to Capitola for like a girls' weekend, for a little family getaway. But it's so interesting to look at a town that we all think we know and really take a deep dive into its history. Sort of how did Capitola get here, the ups and downs it's been through. So it really gives you a greater appreciation for this beautiful little seaside town.
Capitola, a beachside city on the Monterey Bay, a vacation destination for people from all over. Visitors travel here for the beaches, shopping, waterfront restaurants, and hotels with ocean views. On busy summer weekends, Capitola is packed. Founded in 1874, it was another 75 years before it officially became incorporated as a city. The wharf dates back even longer. It was initially built in 1857 and has been damaged by storms, then rebuilt many times over the past century and a half. Most recently, of course, the wharf suffered major damage during storms in January. Those who grew up in the area know Capitola was home to legendary figures. Jack O'Neill opened O'Neill Surf Shop along 41st Avenue in what's now Capitola. The shop has been in the same spot since the 1960s. Other events that brought generations of people to the village include the Begonia Festival and double features at the movie theater on beach days. This summer, for the 51st time, thousands of runners will run the best little road race in California, the Wharf to Wharf, that takes people from the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk to the Capitola Village. But what truly keeps people coming back is Monterey Bay, a playground for surfers and a marine sanctuary, home to so much sea life you can actually see some whales from the beach.
Just an incredible sight. We have to think back to early January. I mean, it is gorgeous where we stand today in late May, but man, it has been a rough start to the year. Take a look at these pictures. I know you haven't forgotten them. The town of Capitola was flooded by that bomb cyclone, that intense heavy rain, those damaging winds, and all the people who live, work, and do business here in the heart of Capitola were just devastated. It is a story of being, it's a story of rebirth, of reinvigoration, of just renewing your love for this town, because when you really think about where we were just a few short months ago, millions and millions in damage. Of course, the president and governor came here to visit. And I mean, when there's a national spotlight on your small town, things are serious, and people pitched in. I mean, there's federal aid and local aid and all this, but people who live and love Capitola came out here to help make it what it is right now.
Yeah, and we saw those flood pictures when this initially happened, when the national crews were here. And I got to tell you, when you come down here now, a lot of work has been put in to getting Capitola back to where it needs to be, because it needs to thrive on those tourism dollars, people coming to visit this beautiful area, and they have done a really fantastic job of cleaning up the mess that you see here in this video that was taken back in January after the floodwaters initially receded. And just a moment ago, you saw those videos there of the wharf, the pier, right? And that was a story that really captured the attention of the Bay Area and the nation as well. When the storm knocked out part of the pier, you see it right there in this picture, heavily damaging an area that's a big tourist spot to this area. $1 million in damages. Swells broke that wharf in half. We can tell you that work is underway to repair this as well. This is going to take a little longer than a lot of the other things that are already open right now. This is a live picture over the damaged area or a picture from Fox over the damaged area a couple of months ago. But I can tell you that the city leaders here in Capitola, they began accepting bids to repair the pier, and they're estimating that it's going to reopen by summer of next year. So the work is underway for that as well. And the work is also underway on the beach as well to clean up the sand. You saw the sand was littered with debris after the storm. You see it here in this picture. I got to tell you right now, those folks have been out there cleaning it up. They have done a great job, because right now you can barely tell that something had hit here.
Can I tell you, I cannot count the number of people strolling along the beach, coffee cup in hand, a little tasty something to nibble on. I think the dog to Persian ratio here in Capitola right now is 1-to-1. If you have a pooch you want to bring down, if you have a family you want to take on a fun day trip from the Bay Area, like I said, about an hour and a half or so right from the heart of the Bay Area. This is an easy one, folks. Capitola is very much open for business. They've done so much work. This place looks great. I'll tell you, I brought my sunglasses and I thought, I don't know that I need them, so we'll see. Maybe by the end of the zip trip we might need to put them on. We're still kind of gray. Gray, cloudy right now, but
you might need them at some point.
I feel like we might get there before 10 o'clock. So coming up, something else we love, right? People who grew up here in the Bay think, I know everything about everything. No, you don't, because our Frank Malico hit the streets of Capitola asking his zip trip trivia questions. I love Alfred Hitchcock, so there's a very strong Alfred Hitchcock connection. So you kind of let that marinating in your brain right now. There's so much to learn about this little beachside town, and Frank Malico is going to test the locals' knowledge with this zip trip trivia, one of our favorite parts of these zip trips. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the 9. Our first zip trip of the summer season finds us in gorgeous Capitola, a little seaside town on the north part of Monterey Bay. I know you saw Capitola in the headlines back in early January when those horrible storms hit this gorgeous town, and my goodness, there is no way of putting a sweat equity / monetary value on the amount of work that's been done. But the headline here for Capitola, folks, it is open for business and ready to welcome you and your family this summer. And we're so happy to kick off our summer zip trip season right here.
It's fantastic. You know, one of my favorite things, besides Sal going to all the food
That's
areas,
a good assignment.
yeah, that's
Let's
a great
be real.
assignment, is
Yeah.
learning something about the area that you're in that
Yeah.
many people, even who are from the area, don't know.
Yeah.
And here we have Alfred Hitchcock. What Capitola was called before it became Capitola.
I truly did not know that
You didn't know that one, right?
No clue. No.
And
no.
Pleasure Point. Those
Yeah.
are three of the big things that Frank Malicote has been looking into. So let's get some more on that by tossing it over to Frank right now. You went to quiz some of the folks around here to see how much they know about Capitola, Frank.
Yeah, we did, and I found out quite a bit too. My aunt had a place down at Aptos, so I spent a lot of time down here as a kid. But rich history here in Capitola dates back to the 1850s. It actually had another name before it became Capitola. So like you said, we took to the streets and tried to find out how much the locals really know about their town. Something happened in Capitola in 1961 that inspired Alfred Hitchcock's biggest movie. What's the movie and what happened?
Shark Attack?
Shark Attack. I didn't know Alfred did that, did he?
I don't know.
Free to take a stab, too. You can do it.
No.
No?
No, it's gone.
Right here in Capitola.
That wasn't the birds. Birds wasn't here in Capitola.
Are you asking me or is that your
Yeah, it's
answer?
my half-baked answer.
Half-baked. It's correct.
It's correct.
Correct. Another word for a seagull is a
Bird?
generic
Pelican?
bird.
Yeah,
Bird. Bird is good. Bird is the word.
Bird. Keep going.
And what's the name of the movie?
This is just The Birds?
The Birds.
Yeah, Patrick.
I remember that now. I think my grandfather talked about that once.
Whole bunch of birds got dopey eating red algae and dive bombed Capitola.
Oh, guy, I missed that.
You did.
Darn.
I did as well. Before Capitola became Capitola, it was a port for the lumber industry, and it had another name. Any idea what they called it?
Oh gosh, Venetian?
Venetian.
I don't know, because that's the name of the bridge over there.
Yeah, keep thinking that.
Thornwood. That sounds like a
Thornwood.
that sounds like a funny name. That would sound accurate.
And you're right.
Wait, actually?
No, you're not.
I didn't think so. That'd be funny if I was.
I'm not positive now.
You've been here 61 years.
I love this guy.
That I don't know.
Okay, well, there's a creek that runs real close to it.
Oh, Soquel Creek?
Soquel. And when a plane is coming in for a
Landing? Soquel Landing.
Soquel, very good.
Was it just Soquel?
Soquel is part of the answer.
Okay.
What's the back half?
Port of Soquel?
Soquel's blank.
Soquel's
Blank.
Port?
Soquel's.
Soquel's Landing?
Where'd you get that?
Well, there's a lot of the landing. Davenport Landing, there's...
You are correct. Welcome to beautiful Pleasure Point. We are just a stone's throw away from Capitola, and this is a mecca for surfers all around the world. And we want to know, how did Pleasure Point get its name?
I don't know the answer to that one.
You want to just guess?
I'm sure there were many pleasurable experiences people had surfing out there, but that's probably not the full answer.
It's pretty close, actually.
I don't know.
You've been here 61
I know,
years.
but that still doesn't.
It's a quarter mile up the road.
It's still. I don't go that far.
Pleasure Point?
Yes. Got its name because it is
Pleasurable?
That's kind of right. But do you know the history behind it?
I don't know the history.
Yeah.
I used to sneak in alcohol from the ships would come into the beach and then they would bury it in the sand and then bring it up the cliffs into the speakeasy where the new houses are.
Wow, you guys have done your work. Did you ever wonder?
A house of ill repute?
Maybe.
What
kind
of pleasures are we talking about?
It was a speakeasy in the 20s across the street where people would go and party, and eventually in the 30s it became
A Pleasure Point?
very good.
There you go, Pleasure
Very
Point.
good. Well, there you go. My brother has surfed Pleasure Point for years. I had no clue how it got its name. By the way, that old speakeasy was called the Roadhouse. It was built in 1902 and sadly got torn down in 2008 to make way for condos. But Pleasure Point, we can see it from here. You got some surfers out there, is still going strong. That's your trivia. I think it's time to eat. And when we eat on Zip Trips, we always say, good morning, Sal.
Good morning, Frank. Well, Dan Castagnola from Castagnola Deli Cafe made me some avocado toast. Dan, thank you so much. I saw it coming out, and it looks delicious. This business has been here for a while, and you guys are catering to some of the locals, too.
Yes, sir. Yeah, been here 7 years now, and basically that's our motto, is to basically catering to locals and the visitors that come, keeping it affordable for the families and people that work here, and yeah, we're happy to do what we're doing, and
you're just a block away from the beach.
Yeah, we're just steps away from the sand, we like to say. And
so I'm going to try this a little later on here. Let me put this down for a second. You know what else was good was the coffee, because I'm a little bit of a coffee snob, so your coffee's on point, my man. The last thing I want to say is, you're about a block away from the beach. When my old man and took our family when we were young, we would always find a place like this to grab sandwiches, because you specialize in grab and go. Then you can walk down to the beach, right?
Absolutely, yeah. That's exactly what we have. A lot of variety of products, grab and goes. We have beach boxes to go, we like to call them. They have different options that you can have. We call them adult Lunchables. You got cheese and crackers or bruschetta. We have beach bucket meal deal for the kids, which includes basically a beach bucket, kind of a souvenir bucket, and it has you can get a grilled cheese sandwich, peanut butter jelly sandwich, juice box, and yeah, we basically have something for everybody.
Dan, I love it. I love it, man. Thank you.
Thank you
for letting us be in your small business.
Absolutely.
Sir. This is, by the way, just a little block away, maybe a half block away from the Esplanade, 201 Monterey Avenue. I love a lot of the small businesses here. If you haven't been, it's a cute little village. You got to stop here, because I'm just about to devour some avocado toast along with my cameraman. So we'll send it back. There it is. There it is, Andre and Gassi. I don't know if you can see that, but you should be jealous.
Oh, yeah. It looks fantastic. Well, Sal, are you going to bring us back some, or are you going to eat the whole thing yourself?
That's gorgeous. No, we'll happily go down. Look at that.
Oh, look. I don't know who's working.
We will happily go down after this.
Right,
Are you kidding
we will.
me?
Yeah, absolutely. Try it out. That looks fantastic, Sal. We'll check it with you in a little bit. Happy eating there. I hope you enjoyed.
So after a hearty breakfast, what better way to really get to know where you are here in Capitola by maybe starting a slight jog, then working your way up to a run. If you can run 6 miles or even jog it, you have an incredible opportunity later on this summer. It's the Wharf to Wharf race. It's really what it is. It's a party. It's 6 miles from the Santa Cruz Wharf to the Capitola Wharf. It brings out people of all abilities. People who can barely jog like me to Olympians have run this race over the many, many years. In just a minute, we're going to talk with the organizer of the Wharf to Wharf race about how you can get involved and how you do not need to be an elite runner to join the fun here in Capitola. Stay with us. Welcome back to our first Zip Trip of the summer season. We're here in Capitola, and we're looking ahead to a really fun event that you and your whole family can join. You're a runner? I know you work out. Are you a runner as well?
I'm not a runner.
You're gonna be.
I'm trying to get there, and this looks like so much fun.
You have till the
this
end of the summer,
race, right? I know. I still have a few months to get ready.
You're going to join the Wharf to Wharf. Thousands of people are counting on you. Let's talk to Scott McConville. You're the organizer of the Wharf to Wharf race. This is 6 miles, and it just goes from beautiful place to beautiful place. You start at the Santa Cruz Wharf and finish up here at home in Capitola. Tell me about the growing success of the Wharf to Wharf race over the years.
Yeah, well, back in the early 70s, the race was only 273 people.
Yeah.
But quickly it caught fire and started selling out, and now we're up to 15,000 people. And
incredible.
It's just one of those things that everybody looks forward to in the summer.
I think you guys started back in 1973, and now you're up to, you said 15,000, and you said every time you open up registration, it sells out fairly fast. Who are the folks that are registering to come and participate in the Wharf to Wharf race?
We get a lot of locals, but actually our extension is all the way to the Bay Area for the majority of our participants. We do get national level runners.
That's
and
incredible.
International fields as well. So, people come pretty much from all over that want to come see Santa Cruz or run in a fun, fast race.
And I imagine they stay in the hotels, they eat at the restaurants, they shop in the village. It brings some $8 million to the economy every year. How does that part of it make you feel, especially after the winter we all just had?
Yeah, exactly. And Wharf to Wharf, we're all about the community and coming together, and this is how we really do it. We like to load up the restaurants, load up the hotels, and people just love to visit Santa Cruz, and this is the perfect way to do that in the summer.
Scott, I know we live in a pretty diverse area as well, but when you have those international runners coming in to your little town of Capitola here, your beautiful seaside town of Capitola, the race is attracting them to this area. What's the kind of the vibe that happens? How do you guys feel about seeing the eyes of so many runners around the world being on Capitola?
Yeah, all the different cultures are great to have in here, and one of the things that they love to do is they love to come early and leave late.
Good.
Oh, wow, nice.
A lot of times these elite athletes, they come into town and they really just come and try to make a little bit of money and run fast and then get out of town. But a lot of the times these
That's
runners
beautiful.
like to get in early and leave late so they can enjoy and experience how great of a community we have
Now,
here.
can I bounce something off you? I have a good friend here who kind of grew up running this race. He said that his best time is 54 minutes. To me, that's astounding. If I can run 6 miles in 54 minutes, I'm on an electric scooter or something. It's not just for elite runners. This really is. If someone is just hearing this for the first time, go, oh, that looks fun. Hey, let's do that. I mean, can even they join?
That's the beauty of Wharf to Wharf is you have the elite athletes, the Kenyans that come out and they run 27 minutes.
Oh, in half the time of my friend. Okay, good. I'll
yeah,
tell
I'm not
him.
going to do the math. I'm not going to do the math for you, but it's
Yeah.
4 something a mile,
Yeah.
which is incredible.
Wow.
But you get the walkers, you get people that come out and they're wearing jeans.
Yeah.
And
Really?
it's their first run of the entire year.
love it.
All the way in the back, and people are dancing. They got 50 bands, so people
Any level is what you're saying.
any level and in between, and a lot of families come out, and a lot of communities come together, like the families that like to have these meetings every single year. It's a tradition for them.
Fantastic.
How young were you when you ran your first?
I think I was close to 10 years old, and, so I've been running
Wow.
the race on and off for 20, 30 years.
That's awesome.
By the way, there's a Little Wharfer. That's a 3-mile race, Goss. You might be,
Okay,
you might
maybe let's start
you might be
there.
able to do
We'll
that.
start with the Little Wharfer. Yeah.
Scott with the Wharf to Wharf race. Thank you so much for joining us today. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
All right. Still to come, we are talking food here in Capitola, and there is no shortage of places that you can eat around here. You heard Gossi say she passed by Gail's today, and she wanted to stop by. She might stop by after
For sure
after the show a little later on today. So we're going to check in with Sal here to get a taste of Capitola as you look live right after this break. All right, we're going to be checking out with Sal in a little bit. He's going to be doing our Taste of the Sound segment in just a couple of minutes here. Looks like they're cooking up something good right there. Earlier, he had some avocado toast, and he was teasing us with it.
Right.
He wouldn't promise us whether he'd bring us anything or not.
Right.
Well, that's okay. We'll go by and grab some a little later. We'll check in with Sal for Taste of the Town. As we're live here in Capitola, we're bringing our 9 a.m. show Zip Trips on the road today.
Guess what? We're going to get a big old platter of calamari and fries from Zelda's. We're going to be like, guess what, Sal? Guess what we have?
Yeah.
So, and we're in
And
the right
then
spot
what?
for it. We are here at Zelda's. Zelda's on the beach, right? Zelda's on the beach.
Mhm.
We're going to talk to the head of Zelda's on the beach. Thanks for joining us, Josh Whitby. We were talking in the commercial break a minute ago. From January 5th to today, I bet you feel like you've lived 10 lifetimes.
Oh, completely. Absolutely.
Tell me about the storm damage and like the recovery you guys are still going through.
It's been a long trip. It was a long time getting everything done, digging out all the sand from underneath the building, building the walls, putting the deck back together. Everything was completely demolished.
And I was earlier before the show started, I decided to bring my computer out and sit on the deck as I was getting ready for the show today. And I just went and looked through some of the old pictures, and it was amazing to me that deck area was torn apart by the bomb cyclone that moved through here back in January, and how well you've put it back together again. Tell us about the work that you've been putting into getting everything back up to where it was before.
So for about 3.5 months, we were 7 days a week. My entire kitchen guys were all here every day, a couple framer guys. We spent a lot of time just putting it all back and just rebuilding from the ground up. It was nothing. It was the deck boards, and that was it.
It was amazing.
Reframed the entire walls and everything. Wow.
When people come back to you for the first time and you see your regulars or see new faces, what do they say to you?
They are super enthralled by the beam that we hung across the ceiling, and mostly it's just thank you for being back. We're so happy you're back.
You had a lot of window damage. I mean, the damage was pretty extensive here, and now you've been open for a month. You really, to recover, you need people back here. We know the town wants to let everyone know they're open for business right now. Talk to us a little bit about what you need here to see from visitors and let them know in terms of the reopening of Capitola, coming down here for Memorial Day weekend, coming down here for the summer.
Well, we need them to know that we're all open. It's not just the restaurants. The shops are open. All of those places need the business that the tourists come back and bring us, for sure. Absolutely.
And as you look out to the coming months, I mean, I imagine you have a little bit of hope, right?
Yeah.
But to be clear, you guys are still working. I mean,
Yes.
this is not normal operations. So how do you balance, what you have to do every day to get food on people's plates versus you're still fixing up your shop?
We try to do the work early. Like we still have stucco going on. They did the metal lath and all that this week, and then we do the mud next week. So it's trying to keep it in the slow days, doing the work, and just try to not impact the customers as much as possible.
It looks beautiful in there. I got to say, I was just in there earlier. You guys have done an amazing job. I do want to ask you, and I want to make an old reference, and I know this is kind of a side note. How did you get the name of the restaurant?
So the name of the restaurant is from Zelda's Fitzgerald and The Great Gatsby. So the first restaurant my wife and her family bought was The Great Gatsby down in San Diego in the Gaslight District. So it's
nice.
kind of a little homage to that.
Oh, fantastic. I was curious about that. It was a great name.
So we talked about calamari and fries. Is that your number one dish?
Yeah.
Number one dish.
This is your moment to brag. Tell us, bring everyone down here. What are your favorites?
Our hamburger is probably one of the best ones in town these days.
Yeah.
Nice.
Our salads, our cocktails are beyond compare. in the
Really?
village. Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
imagine people must sit and linger for a minute here. So
Yeah.
we'll start with the cocktail,
Yeah.
then we'll do a salad, then we'll do the burger, then maybe some dessert. I mean, it can be a
Absolutely.
whole long thing.
Absolutely. And then when junior guards get here, parents sit on the walkway, have their drinks while their kids run around and do all the things that they need to do. It's great.
Josh, you've owned this for several years now. When you saw the damage and you came out after the storm, did you realize how intense it was going to be? And were you prepared for the damage that you saw that day?
No. I knew there was going to be some damage, not anywhere near as extensive as it was. It was pretty heartbreaking to walk in and see walls gone.
Wow. Well, it's fantastic the work you guys have done, as I said before, to make things. I mean, even the patio, the deck area out here is beautiful. So you guys are open for business for people to come back out and hang out really close to the water and have something to eat and have some of your cocktails. It'd be great.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations on coming this far.
Thank you so
Just
much.
incredible work. Capitola's very lucky.
We know Josh Zelda's has some fantastic food. Sal's also been checking out the food across Capitola. We send things back over to him now with our Taste of the Town segment to see what he found across Capitola that you can check out too if you come down here. Sal.
All right, Andre and Gassia, there are wonderful small businesses here like the one I just showed you here at Castagnola Deli Cafe. There's also a really large business here, but it's still locally owned, that everyone seems to go to. So when I came to Capitola, one of the first places I went to was Gale's. You're going to hear about Gale's and some other things that I found on Taste of the Town. When you think of Capitola restaurants, you might think of eateries along the Esplanade in Capitola Village. What you might not think of is the hustle and bustle of one of its most well-known eateries, which is a town institution. It's Gale's Bakery and Rotisseria right along Bay Avenue. When I walked in for the first time, I noticed just how many people were donning the black uniforms with gray aprons.
We have over 120 employees. We see over 1,500 customers a day. We go through tons and tons of butter, tons of chocolate a month, 20, 30, 40,000 eggs a month. We are a big business.
Gale's is Capitola's third largest employer behind a huge auto dealership and Target. Despite the well-stocked display cases and dozens of baguettes stacked against the walls, this restaurant seems a lot like a town square. Gale herself is a sort of mini celebrity among customers. Jamie McFadden is a regular here.
This is, I'd say for Capitola, this is a meeting hub where people feel, it's got that home feel, that welcome feel. This place has so much love. You just feel the love when you come here, and the food is great.
Now about that food, although this place calls itself a bakery, there is plenty of savory food here too. Pastas, enchiladas, and sandwiches made on some of the flakiest croissants anywhere. This customer raves about the pasta dishes.
Spinach gorgonzola pasta. Now, don't ask for the calorie content because then you might not eat it, but it is the tastiest.
I asked Gail herself what she eats these days with the dozens and dozens of choices she has.
We have a really good tuna sandwich right now with thin sliced lemon on an everything croissant, an everything bagel, everything croissant.
So naturally, I had to try it.
That tastes delicious. It's got salty, it's crunchy.
On the sweet end, Gales is known for its princess cakes, but all the cakes look like they're ready for a gourmet magazine cover. If a whole cake is a little much, don't worry, you can just get a maple pecan crocodile or a pecan schnecken or any number of cookies paired with some really good coffee. All in all, this is a food paradise just a few blocks away from Capitola Village. From large operations to a relatively small one, we visited Rue Dat, a Cajun restaurant hidden away in a strip mall. First thing I noticed was the fleur-de-lis and the wonderful smell of the South. Chef Chad Glassley runs this small operation, bringing food from South Carolina's Low Country to Capitola.
I went to culinary school in Charleston, South Carolina.
Charleston.
Yeah, it's great. So much history there, so much great food. I went there and got my bachelor's in culinary arts.
The menu includes fried green tomatoes, smoked andouille sausage, shrimp and chicken jambalaya. All right, so the chef told me that this is what I need to try if I come in here. There's one thing, it's the jambalaya. So here we go. I'm going to awkwardly hold my mic and... Oh yeah, this tastes like the Low Country. And for dessert, you have to try these beignets, which will leave powdered sugar all over the place, but it's worth it. And of course, we couldn't leave the Esplanade restaurants out, many still doing repairs after damaging winter storms. I would highly recommend getting a margarita at a place called Margaritaville and enjoying this view from one of the umbrellaed tables out back. Trust me, it's not for the birds.
Wasting away again in Margaritaville.
I think if my daughter's watching, she's going to make fun of me for saying this, but it's a chill vibe out here, guys. It's chill. I love it. We're 1 block away from the beach. There's restaurants everywhere. There are plenty of restaurants that I just could not get to. There's so many good ones. And I apologize if maybe your favorite restaurant didn't make the list, but you can come down here and pretty much just aim, a dart and shoot to a map and find a good restaurant here in Capitola. So when you come down, beautiful views and great things to eat, Andre and Kasia.
Sal, you don't have to apologize for the chill vibe down here. I completely appreciate the chill vibe down here in Capitola. Even driving in, I felt uncomfortable when I was coming in here, kind of out of the hustle and bustle of being in downtown Oakland, where I live and work as well, coming down here and just feeling that ocean breeze. And even though the sun's not out, it still felt fantastic. And those surfers out here early in the morning trying to catch that wave. I don't surf, but I wish I did.
There you go. There you go. No, it's great. And I love hearing those stories about, like what this place means to families and especially to children. So I will now say something that my child will cringe at. My little boy, he's in middle school and he's all into O'Neill, right? O'Neill Surf Shop. So he's for supporting the local economy by buying O'Neill t-shirts. And I said, hey, can I bring one of those to work? And he's like, no, these are mine. So I couldn't bring an O'Neill shirt for you today on the air, but it's great to see that name and to make that connection of, hey, wait, that's just an hour and a half south. Let's go visit it. So
exactly.
This Capitola has so much to offer to people. Whether you live in the Bay or farther out, this is a place to come for the weekend, shop, eat, and also take in the beauty. There's natural beauty right behind us and everywhere, and there's also a lot of art happening, springing up in small pockets and in large places, and we're going to highlight an incredible artist in our hometown spotlight next. Our Claudine Wong did an amazing job of really getting into the backstory of a mural that everyone walks by and admires and talks about here in Capitola. It's art, and there's so much more than meets the eye. We'll get the inside scoop on this beautiful artwork coming up here as we continue our spotlight on Capitola.
Do they still say hang ten? Remember that for surfing?
I think they do. That's like toes over the board, right?
I don't know.
I
just
so,
know I've heard it for toes over the board. Robert said that in the background there. All right, so you talk about surfing here. I drove in. There are many surfers out here catching a wave early in the morning. Frank's been talking to one surfer in particular with a history here in Capitola. So let's toss it over to Frank, and he can tell us a little bit more about that. Hey, Frank.
Good morning, guys. Yes, a lot of surfers got their start right here in Santa Cruz County, including our guest here. It's 52-year-old Adam Replogle. How are you?
Hey, I thought we had a deal. You're going to say I was 49 there, Frank.
47-year-old Adam Replogle.
There we go.
All right, well, surfing is in your blood. You were a pro for over 10-plus years. You've surfed all over the world, but Capitola's home. What is it about surfing that is just in your DNA?
I don't know if it was in my DNA. I think I might have drank a little of this local water here, and that got into me. You know, this is a fountain of youth to me out here, so I loved going down here when I was a kid, surfing a lot.
Yeah.
We all got our start down there. I mean, Peter Mell, big wave rider, was down here as a kid. So there was a lot of us, you know, that learned down here, and during the early 80s, it was a perfect time to be a surfer.
Okay, and you're retired now. You work at the Billabong Surf Shop here in town, but you're in the water every day, right?
Well, I try to, you know. As you can see, I'm looking really young there, Frank. You said, you know. No,
you're 45 now.
Yeah, 45 now. I'm just trying to stay out there, stay active. I love hanging out with the kids down there, and it really does keep you youthful and young.
And for people that don't surf, what's it like to just set up on a great wave, you know, for a good minute or two?
You know, oh gosh, if it's a minute or two, that's an awesome wave. You know, it's an incredibly long one. But to me, it's like a magic carpet ride. You know, it's really sort of like floating in space, you know, or floating on a cloud. You really get a nice speed and feel, a glide, and it's very addictive.
Yeah.
Very addictive.
How has surfing kind of changed this little community of Capitola?
I think it's changed it for the better, really. It bringing a lot of heads in beds, bringing a lot of people into the community. You see over time, I wish we could quantify it, but how many people come here to Capitola to surf and what it really does to our community here. Because if they saw the value, I think they would really back it a little more.
And we talked about it. Surfing's changed a little bit. Used to be a lot of guys, but the gals are really taking over.
Oh, believe me, I think that's been the biggest upside to surfing lately. Has been all the women in the sport. They've really taken it to the next level. They're surfing just as high as the men now on some of the disciplines. You know, you see some of their small wave technique is perfect, and boy, we have a lot of great young women here too in Santa Cruz.
And how far has Capitola come since those big storms back in January?
Well, you know, it's come a long way. I go down through Capitola quite a bit. I'd say probably 95% of the merchants are open down there. You know, there's great places down there right now. Lots of restaurants are open. You know, we have a lot of really good Mexican food down there, a lot of good breakfast spots. So if you want to go check out El Toro Bravo or Zelda's, they're great. You know, the Sweet Asylum too. There's a great place down there to get clothes. You know, my buddy Matt Arthur has a place down there, the Capitola Surf Company. So a lot of great places down there.
And finally, you've surfed Mavericks. What's it like being on a 60-foot wave?
Well, I wouldn't go as far as to say I rode a 60-footer, but I rode some pretty big waves. The biggest waves I ever rode weren't really under my own arm power. They were I was towed in by them.
Right.
But no, it's exhilarating. You get a huge rush out of it. You know, you really put your life on the line. You put your throat in your heart, and you just send it.
Just let it go, right?
Yeah.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Adam, thanks very much.
Welcome, Frank.
I know you got some surfing to do today, right?
Yeah, you can tell, huh? I got to get out of here.
All right. Well, there he is. That's Adam Repnagel. Thank you very much. Great surfing community. And if you have never surfed before, I'll just kind of step out. But that's kind of a beginner's area right there. A little break and a lot of surfers. So if you're just starting out, Capitola's a good spot as well.
Wow.
That's the latest. We'll send it back to you guys.
Look at all those people out there waiting for a wave. Gus, you wish you were out there?
Those guys are living my little boy's
Right?
dream. Can I tell you, we actually have a trip planned to Capitola later in the summer because he thinks he's going to learn how to surf. So, you know, when you're 13, you can do anything. So we'll see how far he gets.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure he's going to be happy. He's already got the outfits and everything ready to go.
He's got all the O'Neill t-shirts,
surfer, yeah.
absolutely, like the pale pink and the turquoise blue. You know, of course, looking good as part of 7th grade, but also being beautiful in town is an important work being done by a mural here that was created by a young artist. And our Claudine Wong had the chance to talk to her. The piece of artwork is called Your Capitola, and you look at it and it's gorgeous, then you start looking at all the individual parts, and the story of how it came together and really evolved as it was being created is inspirational. Here's Claudine.
Well, there's no doubt Capitola has the sun, the surf, the sand, but it also has art, and it's art that tells the very personal stories of the people of Capitola. For years, this mural on Wharf Street in Capitola has beckoned people to stop, to take in the beach and the begonias and the beauty.
Everything about Capitola is beautiful, the colors, the scenery, the water, the birds, the people.
What isn't beautiful about this place?
But artist Maya Negre will tell you to look closer, because this mural has stories to tell.
Somebody was like, hey, can you paint my dog in? That was when we painted that dog in, and then that little beagle down there was kind of an add-on that we added in.
So many pieces of this mural were added in as it was being created.
The older couple that's at the very end, they happened to be just walking like by, and they were so quiet and so meek and like so humble and nice, and he was like, I want to paint them in the mural.
Even the story of how she became part of this project back in 2010 feels meant to be.
John Ton was the original artist. He's a Petaluma-based artist and an amazing, wonderful human. I was just walking by, and I said, "Hal, this is such a cool mural you're doing." And he goes, "Yeah." He's like, "But at the day I happened to fly, he was like, I'm a little frustrated because my assistants aren't here, and and I'm never going to get this done in time, and I don't know. So I was like, I'm an artist. And he goes, you are? And I was, yeah.
She ran home, got a sampling of her work, scenes of Capitola on cards, and brought them back.
And he goes, all right, I'll hire you.
Another chapter in what is a love story of Capitola. Maya moved here when she was just 17, fresh out of high school. She didn't know anyone. She wasn't sure what she was going to do. But she says she started surfing and something magical happened.
Surfing, being in the ocean, being literally in salt water, the feeling of gliding on waves and seeing everything and smelling everything. It's just such an incredible, experience.
And so she began to paint the beauty and has never stopped. Painting cards, surfboards, canvas. You can even find her work on socks. Here, she says, she has found an endless source of inspiration.
There's so many artists in this town. It's such a hugely supported, creative place, which I actually didn't even realize until I was here. And I was like, wow, this place is like a wonderland.
A wonderland of not just art, but wine and music, cultivated in part by the City of Capitola's Arts and Cultural Commission and volunteers like Kelly Barretto.
We've had operas, we have movies at the beach, art at the beach, we've got public art installations. I think one of the things that makes Capitola unique is the rich history. This was the original vacation destination for the Bay Area, so we've got decades and decades of people gravitating towards Capitola to gather here.
It's a shared love for this place and a shared appreciation for the people in it.
Kelly's in the mural. Well, she was a big paddle boarder. We stuck her in there because she was such an awesome part of helping to make this happen.
It's about the people, and every brushstroke a nod to the wonder and the beauty of the place they call our Capitola.
Maya says she's got lots of projects she's working on, but she's always looking forward to the Art and Wine Festival that happens here in Capitola in September. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, we just heard Claudine talk about the Capitola Art and Wine Festival that's coming up. We're going to dive in a little bit more on this because that's coming up at the end of the summer. It's kind of the big wrap-up. It's a 2-day event. It's going to include several wineries from the Santa Cruz Mountains area, and we're going to dive into what that is, how you can be a part of it. A lot of it's totally free. You're going to want to hear much more about this coming up right after this break as we continue our zip trip here in Capitola.
We're here in gorgeous Capitola at the very beginning of the summer season, right? Coming up on Memorial Day weekend, a lot of people are going to be here eating, drinking, having fun, surfing. And if we can look ahead to what many people consider summer's last hurrah, there's an incredible art and wine festival that takes place in Capitola Village. 20 plus local local wineries from the Santa Cruz Mountains, Sal. And more artists than you can count. It is the perfect day to come and sip and stroll and just soak in Capitola.
You're absolutely right, Kasia and Andre. This whole village becomes a pedestrian village when they do the Art and Wine Festival. So you can drive down the Esplanade here now, but during the festival, they close it to cars, and it becomes a huge pedestrian village with all the tents and all that. And usually we have some nice weather for the Labor Day weekend. I'm going to bring in Carrie Arnone, who is with the Chamber of Capitola and Soquel, joining us now to talk about the festival. I haven't been to the festival. It sounds like I need to come.
Oh, you do. It's personally my favorite weekend of the year. It's this year, September 9th and 10th. 2-day festival, and we take over the entire village, filled with about 150 artists, 23 Santa Cruz Mountain wineries, entertainment all weekend, food trucks, and it's just so much fun. And this year we're celebrating our 40th annual.
That's good. Carrie, this is a perfect place. Maybe the kids can go play on the beach while mom and dad look at some wine, right? It's got something for everyone. Tell me a little bit more about how, this year might be a little more important given all the damage that happened, over the winter. I think the merchants would appreciate people coming down.
Oh, absolutely. We really had a rough, wet, wild winter, and something that we haven't experienced in a really long time. but we're back up and running, and we want people to know that Capitola Village is open. The restaurants are open, the shops are open. Summer is upon us. The concerts are going to start happening every Wednesday. The Capitola Twilight concerts, they start June 14th. Summer fun is happening, and it's going to be better than ever.
Yeah, so the thing is, I wouldn't necessarily want to wait until the Art and Wine Festival, right, to come down here. I could come down here and sip wine even without the festival at any of these restaurants.
Absolutely. There's wine bars, there's restaurants for every taste and every, pocketbook. Shopping galore, sunglasses, bathing suits, women's fashion, men's fashion, pets.
By the way, you got to bring your sunglasses when you're down here because it does get a little bit bright. Okay, so the last question is about the Art and Wine Festival. How do you get tickets? Do they sell out, or how do you become involved? Can you just walk on, or what is it?
So the festival is admission free. We provide free shuttle and parking up at the Capitola Mall.
Do you get one of these?
This is every year we have a festival glass. This was last year's glass. So you purchase festival glass and tasting tokens, and you've got 23 different wineries to choose from. Peruse art, walk around, sipping your wine, grab something to eat, go listen to great music. We've got the Lost Boys featuring James Durbin of American Idol fame. He'll be playing on Saturday, and it's just a fun weekend.
As the kids say, this is a chill vibe, no cap. Got that, Andre? George is all, no, you couldn't pull that off.
I'm cringing for you
Carrie,
and
no,
for your
thank you
little
for joining
daughter
us.
as well,
Thanks
Sal.
for having me. Come to the festival.
Awesome. What a beautiful way to wrap up what has been an
Yes.
amazing morning. So we're going to go to Gale's, get some coffee and sweet treats, come back here to Zelda's for lunch. We've got a whole day planned here, but we also want to look ahead just a little bit. 2 weeks from today, we're going to be way far north of where we are right now. Santa Rosa, you're up next. Our next zip trip is Friday morning, June 9th. We're going to be there live from 9 to 10 as we are every other week for you here in what is going to be the biggest zip trip season we have had so far on Mornings on to the 9th. So mark your calendar. If you're up in Santa Rosa on June 9th, come and say hi to us. We'll be in the old courthouse square highlighting all the great things about that North Bay town. But man, we are going to stay here in Capitola for as long as we can.
2 Fridays from today when we're going to be in Santa Rosa. But the important thing to know is it's Memorial Day weekend right now, and Capitola, the folks here that have businesses here, want you to know that they're open for business. We know the pictures that you saw back in January of the devastation, but they have done a job of cleaning everything up. When you drive into town, you can barely tell there was any issue here. Of course, the wharf is being worked on. That's supposed to be done perhaps by next summer, but the restaurants are open for business, and they need your business. They survive here on tourist dollars that come into the town, and that's what everyone here wants you to know, that things are still happening here in Capitola, and they have done a great job in getting things open for business. And come on down, enjoy your time.
I thought that seagull was going to hit you, but it
Did
didn't.
you?
It came this close. Just up this way on the beach, we've got a little elementary school gathering. It's a last day of school party. If you haven't been to Capitola for a minute, you need to come on down this weekend or next, or maybe during the week, which is even more chill vibe. So great job by Sal. Great job by Frank. Guess what, people? I get to put on my sunglasses. Yes? Come. Oh, for sure. Please.
Yeah.
Do you even have to say it?
Yeah.
Remember, calamari and fries here at Zelda's, but that's after we stop by Gale's for sweet things and coffee.
Exactly. Yeah, we all had a great time here. Frank Malico gave us some inside scoop of this place. Alfred Hitchcock, what Capitola was called before this, and Sal gave us some great ideas on where to eat food. But there's plenty of places here to eat food. Thank you so much for joining us. We enjoyed being here in Capitola. We're gonna hang out here for a little bit with the rest of everyone. Come on down and enjoy yourself as well. We will see you again on Monday. Our next newscast, by the way, on KTVU Channel 2 comes your way at noon. Have a great day, everyone.